I am New York State Senator Mario Mattera. I represent the 2nd Senate District, which is in Suffolk County, which includes the town of Huntington and Smithtown on Long Island. I am the ranking Republican on Energy Committee. I am proud to be here today to protect our ratepayers and our small businesses from the senseless and rushed energy policies that are increasing costs and will have a disastrous impact on all New Yorkers. I would like to thank Leader Rob Ortt, not for only appointing me as the ranking Republican on this important committee, but for being so vocal on this critical issue. I thank all of my fellow Republicans on the Energy Committee, Tom O'Mara, Mark Walczak, and all of my colleagues for being here today. I most importantly want to thank the speakers who have traveled here to explain how important it is to keep the New York Heat Act out of the final budget. In effect, it bans clean natural gas for all of our residents and businesses and takes away New Yorkers' fuel choice. Just like the entire CLCPA, this act will make energy much more expensive for all New Yorkers and make fuel choice a relic of the past. Make no mistake, this is a move by Democrats to force their fuel choices on our residents and our businesses. It will, like an ill-conceived CLCPA, cost our families and businesses too much. How much? The Democrats won't say. Too much. When you talk to those who think this is a good idea, what they say on that side, across the aisle, it is the cost of doing business. Is that amazing? Is the cost of doing business to go and hurt all of our residents' pocketbooks? This act, if either put on the budget approval after, will force many who live here and own businesses in New York to leave, as so many have decided to do already. Over 2 million have left New York State since 2020. Amazing, over 2 million residents of New York State to move to Florida, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina. My wife tells me we're going to be moving to Tennessee. I don't want to move to Tennessee. It costs way too much money. And what's happening right now with New York Heat Act and things that the Democrats on the other side put forward to mandate is just hurting all of us. And it will cost the hardworking men and women who work in this field, who have trained for years, their jobs. It will harm our contractors and increase the cost of housing. And sadly, there is nothing in this bill to help these skilled workers. I had a debate with Senator Kruger the other day on the floor, and the one question I asked, I go, what about education? What about educating? What about educating all the workers that are going to be losing their jobs that were there to get licensed? Our contractors that have to have all these licensing to make sure that you could install natural gas. And you know what you're going to do? You're just taking their careers away from them, and they're being forced into having new careers. Workers like those from the IBEW Local Union 1049 utility workers, who many of us stood with this weekend as the fight for a fair contract with Nat Grid. These workers have been there in times of emergency and times of danger. The Democrats are the Democrats are taking their livelihoods away. These workers keep the natural gas flowing and the lights on. And the Democrats don't care. I'm telling you, they do not care. Remember, it is the price of doing business to do away with natural gas. Terrible. This is called dysfunctional government at its worst. Someone said, please make sure I mention that. That I said it, totally dysfunctional at its worst. The same Democrats who are deeply concerned about federal workers do not care about our correction officers or skilled plumbers and pipe fitters, like my United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters that will be losing their jobs. It is time to pause this insanity. To protect our ratepayers from trillions of dollars, the CLCPA will cost all New Yorkers. Protect our workers from the lost jobs and protect the future of our state. To be clear, it is time to say no to the New York Heat Act. It is in the state one house, but not in the Assembly's proposal. We urge the Assembly to continue to listen to common sense and keep the New York Heat Act out of the final budget. Instead, we should expand the flow of the Iroquois pipeline and to restart the work on the Constitution pipeline from Pennsylvania to New York State up to New England, and not have frozen natural gas on our roadways right now because of the capacity shortage. Everybody needs to know that. We care about the environment, the other side, but they don't care about all those diesel trucks that right now are polluting our area, driving in and putting in frozen natural gas, and the energy that is needed to liquefy that natural gas. No one talks about that. This pipeline is crucial for all the residents and energy needs in New York State. We should look into every possible source of energy before we overburden our infrastructure and lose more residents. I have introduced bills to study our energy sources and need to move on to those. And we should know how much the CLCPA would truly cost New Yorkers. I have introduced a Climate Action Cost Council bill, S5611, that would mandate quarterly meetings to examine the cost of the CLCPA. They have not had a meeting in over 3 years. We need to know how much this is going to cost New Yorkers. And when we do have our meetings, very interesting meetings, and I recommend everybody to go to our energy meetings because they're probably the most interesting ones, no disrespect to other committees. Saying it's the cost of doing business is not the answer. We should have a realistic plan, not a natural gas ban.